Are your KOL meetings similar to a fast food drive-through experience where you come in hot with the data, you dump it on the KOL, you get limited feedback and interaction, and then struggle to get the next meeting? If the answer to this question is yes, you might be having transactional or surface level relationships. Get your pens out because Catherine and I have some really great hacks for you on how to move back past transactional relationships to gather really great insights. We're going to go through what are relationship builders, why you should be using them, and then you're going to get all the hot tips from Catherine herself. Stick around for that and check out our MSL Impact Bundle to help implement all of these tips in your next pre-meeting planning session. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Patrina. I'm the creator of Medical Affairs Strategy Hacks, and I have a very special edition for you today. I'm joined by Catherine Sunderlin, who is an amazing senior MSL. Catherine, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. What is a relationship builder and why is it so valuable for MSLs? Why do they need it or why should they use it?
Yeah, absolutely. So they need it because I see this especially in newer MSLs, but they have this misconception that their job as a medical science liaison is to be a data expert and be able to answer any question that the physician might have about their data and the disease state.
And spew
And
up all
then
the data,
you
right?
would be able to
Yeah.
answer everything, boom, 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 and never say no. Don't do that. But in reality, an MSL's main job is to establish a genuine, trusting relationship with a physician to facilitate research and make sure that the physicians do have the data they need to best serve their patients. But it's all about the relationships.
Yeah.
And as we were just talking about, it's all about the long game. And so that's why you need relationship builders, because it's in that first meeting that it's going to be key to establish a genuine relationship. And you do that by showing the other person, because yes, physicians are people, that you care about them professionally and what they care about and what's important to them. So I always advise newer MSLs on our team to make that first meeting all about them.
I love that.
So I never go into a first introductory meeting planning to pull up a bunch of my data. I want to talk about what's important to them and how I can support them.
That's a tip. You guys
Yeah.
better be writing this down,
Yeah.
right? Don't even
All
plan
about them.
on
Yeah.
showing your data, but have it ready. All right. So
Have it
what
ready because they
is,
might have questions. They
yeah,
might.
exactly. So what is a relationship builder? How do you define it?
So these are relationship builders tools that you use in your pre-meeting planning that are going to allow you to get to know that physician as best you can without actually meeting them. And it may seem to be things that you think would be common sense, but I see so many MSLs not doing this. But go find out what they care about through their publications. That's a relationship builder. And so if you're doing that, scan it as a whole. Don't look at it in like, oh, what of our trials have they been involved in that they published? No, look at their portfolio from an unbiased, curious lens and figure out what they care about. Look for trends. Are they publishing on a certain gene? And then, so what I always say, the actual builder part or the tool is to then pick a publication, read through it, and come up with a question to ask them in the introductory meeting about that. And
Awesome.
that's just one example of a relationship builder.
Okay, so that's great. To summarize, it's about scanning whatever channels you have available to you to help figure out what they might care about and then opening the conversation about that. And the benefit is that it shows them you've one, done your homework, two, you actually
Mhm.
care about them and not just your own agenda. All right, this is such great stuff here. Catherine, what are some other things you look for? So you mentioned the publications. What
Mhm.
else do you look for? I'm imagining that some people listening will think, oh, I don't know where to start or what to look
Yeah.
for.
Yes. So you start putting on your virtual sleuthing hat, like any way you would want to find out things about anyone. So think X, go on and see what they're commenting on when it comes to data. Have they participated in podcasts? I feel
Mm,
like nowadays so many different disease states have podcasts dedicated to topics where they interview physicians. Have they done that? YouTube, and then as well as recent conferences. I know a lot of the bigger ones in my field, they tend to have recordings that you can go back and listen to for a time. And this actually played out well for me recently in an intro meeting where I kind of went down a rabbit hole based on a physician's, it was like a 5 minute abstract that they went over at a conference, but I was able to listen to the Q&A and that got me interested in that. And so then I went to the publications after that and I found the publications based on that presentation and I read it, came with some questions. And these do not have to be like groundbreaking Nobel laureate, like dissertation questions. It could be something as simple as like, hey, you enrolled 30 patients in this really rare disease. Like that must have been hard finding all those patients. Like, what was that like?
Oh, I love
Something
that.
simple. Like these are people. And it worked really well. We ended up going on this whole tangent about his research for like 20 minutes. And then he said, okay, this has been great. Now we can talk about what you want to talk
Yeah.
about. So it's
This
like,
is,
they're just people. We need to get to know
yeah,
them like we would anyone else.
this is such a great example. It shows that you, like I said before, did your homework and you really care about them as a person. And I love what you said about it doesn't need to be this groundbreaking, super smart question. It just needs to be a thoughtful question. That's such a great story. Do you have any other tips or advice that you would add to for the folks listening in to start implementing relationship builders?
I would just say when it's the beginning of the relationship is key and you don't want to rush it.
Mm,
And you really want to take that time to learn as much you can about that physician and show them that you genuinely are interested in a trusting relationship with them because that's how you're going to get them to talk to you in a genuine way. And I would say just keep that at the goal. Stay curious, use the relationship builders to find genuine areas of connection. And don't be in such a rush to share your news, your data with them.
yes.
There will be time for that. And that's what you're going to do in your next meeting.
I
So you
love that.
can, yeah.
Great. Catherine, thank you so much. If you are using relationship builders or something similar, please reach out to us on LinkedIn. Let us know. We want to know how this has worked for you. If you want to start implementing relationship builders in your pre-meeting planning now, check out the article that we wrote on the Medical Affairs Value blog. I'll put the link up here for you. Also, check out our MSL Impact Bundle. This has all the templates you need to start using relationship builders and building those deep relationships that lead to great insights right away. If you liked or found anything useful in this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Also, when you're over on the Medical Affairs Value blog, definitely subscribe to the newsletter. I produce content like this on a weekly basis and would love to have you join the newsletter. Catherine, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in.